When Mizuno first launched the JPX line of irons, and in particular the Tour and the forged irons, well, people like me who love the MP line really struggled to understand where it sat within the Mizuno stable.
And that all changed as soon as a man named Brooks went on to win majors with the 900 Tour and the 919 Tour. And yet, people were still confused.
But people like me who were confused really have to get over it, and Phil's here to help us do that, to explain just why these beauties deserve to be talked about.
I'm glad you asked.
Not sure I did.
I'm not sure you did either. MP, class, shot making. A little bit like Luke Donald and a little bit like you.
Thank you.
But we don't all wear smokers jackets with leather patches on our arm.
I knew the whack was coming.
Just as MP is jazz, maybe a little bit of classical, JPX is rock and roll.
Oh, God.
So Philip, got the JPX 921 Tour, did I pronounce that properly?
And I've got the forged.
Just general appearance, just put it behind the ball or hit him, whatever you want to do.
I just couldn't resist, sorry.
All right, so I'm looking at this, Phil, and obviously it's a wider top line to the MP20s. That
Yeah,
I play.
MP snob, yep.
Yeah, no, but I'm just giving it to you. I prefer the MP20 look straight away.
Yep.
This is slightly wide for me, not badly though, like it's not chunky or anything like that.
Geez, you crucified that.
How do they hit?
I could be a JPX. No, it's only one though, it was only one.
I wouldn't be hitting any more.
That's
Just
kind of
stop.
good.
So JPX is, I mean, if you think about
Oh,
Brooks,
that sounded good.
well, but you think about Brooks as an example.
You think about him a lot.
That may be the case,
Ooh, in the middle.
but it's athlete golfer. So particularly the 921 Tour. So I'll talk to
I had
you. I'll talk
I
to
had
you.
a
Kipper.
fly
You're
land on my
embarrassed.
ball. Genuinely had a
Well,
fly
you should have
land.
hit the fly.
Oh, that's the comebacker. You flush one and then you made one go didn't even make it off the tee block.
Kipper, I'll refer the rest to you. The athlete golfer, 921 Tour.
Oh, yeah.
Kipper, they like to blaze away. They like to. What are you one on, one off?
Oh man, I didn't have a fly on at that time.
They like to just give it a hit and give it a rip and need a little bit more forgiveness.
Well, I can say straight away, I mean, this is just typical Mizuno, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
just a classy looking head. I mean, they don't make a bad looking golf
Oh,
club.
there's a bad one.
Um,
One on, one off. You're right.
You, you just keep
So I
doing
want to have a look at this one.
I've only hit two because
No, that's right. Apparently that's all you're allowed because Shooter needs to go back to where he was, his
Ooh.
MP roots.
Oh, here we go, Phil.
Can I-
That Tour.
yeah. See,
not
already
the-
I don't like this one as much.
It's not the MP. It's not the MP20, obviously. Jeez, it's not far off.
But therein lies some of the confusion about where they all sit.
Yeah, well, exactly. So I mean, that's really similar to an MMC for me. Is that a
It
fair
is.
call?
It is. So now think about if an MP, and using that analogy, if MP guy is jazz and MP guy is classical, JPX is just athlete. It is rock and roll. That's the main, one of the key differences.
So it's sort of, it's almost more a marketing situation.
Yeah, call it how it is.
Seriously.
Yeah, there is a very strong marketing element where MP was all about refinement and traditional Japanese. JPX is about loosening the reins a little bit.
So does that mean they're actually pretty similar?
Well, if you think about the metals, so 1025E are in the 921 Tour and in the MP line. Now this doesn't have the copper underlay, your favourite copper underlay.
Underlay.
But there's still the 1025E.
It still feels pretty good.
Yeah,
though.
it's still grain flow forged. It's still got all those elements to it. And really, when we compare the new one to the previous one, the long irons are slightly thicker in the sole. The short irons are slightly narrower in the sole.
better
So
shooter.
when it moves to shot making,
Shut up, Kipper.
and then you can flush them. But as we always
I love
find,
that. Yeah.
the closer you get to that flusher's iron, the better you use
It
it.
makes no sense though.
No, you don't make any sense.
I'm meant to have more forgiveness with that,
You are meant to have.
and I use it like a shovel.
Yeah, apparently you did, or a backhoe, or an excavator. But enough about your 921 Tour. Talk to me about Forged.
Well, the only thing, like for me, I just don't like the bulkiness.
Yeah.
And straight away, I'm definitely more of a headspace golfer where I just get issues over a club that I don't. For me, it's just too bulky and I feel like I can't swing it properly compared to that one.
Okay,
That
swing it
just-
anyway.
Yeah, oh, it feels awesome. Don't get me wrong, but
Let's see it. Let's hit it, hot shot. Yeah, all right.
and it feels great. Don't get me wrong, but I just, for me, the look of that thing is unbelievable.
That's
It's
the thing,
shorter.
though. Okay, so here's a question. If you had this, didn't have this, would
Yes.
you still look at that and go, that looks pretty?
Probably,
You
yes.
only think that doesn't look as pretty because you've got something to compare it to. That's,
Spot on.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
because
still
this is
pretty
a good looking head.
Absolutely.
And compare that to some of the other things on the market that are bulk, this is lovely.
Yeah.
But next to that thing's sleek and like downright sexy. I
So
love it.
921 Forged is a distance player's iron. So it's designed to have more distance built in. So in order to do that, and with the way they built the weight into the golf club, they actually need to be a little bit thicker and a little bit chunkier because it needs to be more forgiving.
Yeah.
But the other thing, the 921 Forged, they've forged the golf club with chromoly for the first time.
Chrome what?
Chromoly.
Yeah,
What's
this
It's
is-
chromium and molybdenum.
Oh.
Do you not know that?
He's gone to that
I
metallurgy
just
course
loved it.
again.
Explain more, Phil. Explain me more.
Well, I can't because I didn't get past that from the periodic table. But it's a stronger metal, and so they can make the face thinner.
No way, flies.
Again, they can mill the back of the head and produce a faster ball speed.
Can I have the club back? Is there any difference in weight?
With head weights?
Yes.
No.
Is there not? Because that's just, there again, that's placebo. Because I just feel like that's easy to get through the air, but it's obviously not.
Well, it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I know.
So the one that you're using is a little bit smaller. So you'd immediately think that it is easier aerodynamically.
And that's why golf club design fascinates me, because it's obviously
though?
so much R&D, but in the end it comes a lot down to look, doesn't it, and feel of it.
Well, you
These-
have to like what you look at.
Yeah.
And these feel great though.
They both do.
This is just classic Mizuno.
But I love this
But
thing.
I don't know. Would
Oh,
this change you
Philip.
from MP line? Would you go from MP line to JPX line?
I would, because even when we
Because you
reviewed
think you're rock
MP,
and roll, and then
I need the length. No, mine is just about length, about having a nice traditional look, but something that goes a little bit further. So that's for me, 921 is forged, is perfect, because it'll just give me that little bit of extra oomph, without being overly, wow,
pretty good.
without being overly big. Whereas 921 Tour, for mine, is just not forgiving enough.
I'm getting to that overload stage there, D's.
You're just not. And I'll tell you, one of the other great things about 921 Forged is that once you get to the short irons, they go back to the 1025E. So it stops being chromoly, it goes to the 1025E. So you get all the feel back, the shot making feel that is beautiful. It's the best of both worlds.
I don't know, I just fell in love with these as soon as I got them in my hand, and I don't know, I'm just a look guy.
Okay, Barons, well, that's a wrap on the Mizuno JPX 921 Forged and Tour irons. They're very good, Phil.
I'm still loving your ball striking, sorry.
So talk me through them. If you had to choose between the two of them, you're coming from MP world.
Very easy choice for me. I'm on the Tour every single time. That thing's not a big difference to me. That's a very MMC style setup for me, so I loved it. I can't quite get myself to the Forged yet, Phil.
Yet.
But I'm going to interject there and just say that Forged is just that extra bit of forgiveness. I loved it, but it's not a bulky club. But when it sits next to that, you go, I just want the Tour.
But other than the marketing of the JPX line on these, Phil, I'm still an MP man. I'm sorry.
You are still a smoker's jacket and leather patches. Kippa, as much as you think you're rock and roll, you probably are.
Well, I'm just going to go get the sand and fix these divots. You keep going, boy.
That's hurtful.
Honest.